If you don't already know by now, I'm Chloe, and today we will be focusing on the lovely story of a remarkably dedicated man called Zhang Binggui and his unique skills. By the end of the session, we will have developed our ability to summarize a story effectively and should be able to use this in an everyday situation and conversation. Today, we will look at a few English language strategies that can engage your audience and make your conversation more chatty. This is another term for the word colloquial. During the previous lessons, you learned about Zhang Binggui. He was a very famous man in China, renowned for his charming style of customer service. But he was not always famous. He was not rich and came from a humble background. In fact, at the time of opening his now celebrated sweet shop, New China was at its very beginnings. The citizens of this country had seen many hardships and suffered many losses during the preceding few years. Zhang Binggui was an ordinary man working in an ordinary confectionery store doing ordinary things. In the UK, we would call him an average Joe. So what made him so special? How did he take the ordinary and create the extraordinary? Allow me to present you with your first task. I would like you to summarize the story from the book and try not to exceed 350 words. Today, I would like you to include 3 language techniques which will make the summary more appealing and will have more of a relaxed and conversational tone. Number 1, 3 rhetorical questions. Questions that don't need an answer, such as, do you know what he did? Have you heard about? Number 2, 2 opinions. For example, I believe that, in my opinion. Number 3, 3 positive superlatives. These are adjectives that describe something at its most extreme, such as the best, the highest, the speediest, etc. To help you summarize the story, I would like you to include references to the following points. You may need to do a little research for some of them. Off you go. Hello and welcome back. How did you do? I'm sure that you have a great summary, and I have also written one, so you can get an idea about what I'm looking for. I've also added the language techniques I mentioned in order to engage the listener. Here you go. Have you ever heard of a Chinese man called Zhang Binggui? No? Well, he is incredibly well known in China, renowned for his charming service in a modest Beijing sweet shop. But was he always so famous? No. He was not rich and came from the humblest of backgrounds. Zhang Binggui was an ordinary man working in a lowly position in an ordinary confectionery store, performing ordinary tasks. In the UK, we would call him an average Joe. So what made him so special? How did he take the ordinary and create the extraordinary? In my opinion, it was his supreme work ethic. He was the best employee a company could have asked for. He always arrived on time and was perfectly dressed because he believed if he wasn't smart and clean, the customer might lose their appetite. This wasn't the only thing he did for customers. He went above and beyond his call of duty. In order to truly please his clients, he perfected his ability to implement the so-called 3-in-1 working method of asking a second customer what they wanted whilst wrapping up the goods of the first customer and greeting a third customer as they arrived. This later developed into a 6-in-1 method, including finding and weighing the sweets, then taking payment. 6 in 1, can you believe it? In addition, on his days off, he would research the ingredients of candies, ensuring that he could give the most relevant and helpful recommendations to his customers. Zhang's fine reputation spread nationwide, and people began to flock to the Beijing department store to not only buy sweets, but experience the best customer service around. Parents would take their children to see this role model and learn from his way of doing things. I believe that traditional Chinese culture recognizes that great people can come from all walks of life. The saying, "Every profession has its own expert," really applies to Zhang Binggui, who proved that determination, hard graft, and pride in your work can turn an average man into a celebrity. So that was my summary. I think that by using the 3 techniques I gave you, it really can capture your audience. Top tip: you can actually use these techniques in many different situations, such as persuasive writing, marketing, and creative writing. So now, I would like you to make this shorter still. Today, I'm going to give you a difficult challenge. You need to condense this story into about 7 sentences. The reason I ask you to do this is because it really helps you memorize the most important facts of the story. You might not realize it, but just by writing the previous summary, your brain has already soaked up lots of nuggets of information, and you'll find yourself naturally asking rhetorical questions and using superlatives when it comes to retelling the story. But to condense it into 7 sentences means that you will not forget to mention the most crucial facts. Take as long as you need. I repeat, just 7 sentences. Off you go. Okay, did you do it? Well, I'm going to give you my 7 sentences right now. Compare my answers to yours. Number 1, Zhang Binggui was an ordinary man working a lowly position in an ordinary Beijing confectionery store in the mid-1950s. However, through his incredible work ethic, his name is now famous all around China. Number 2, he always arrived on time and was perfectly dressed. He was the best employee a company could wish for. Number 3, he perfected his ability to perform the 6-in-1 working method of asking a customer what they wanted whilst wrapping up the goods of the first client, greeting a third, finding and weighing the sweets, then taking payment all at once. Number 4, in addition, he researched the ingredients of candies to give the most relevant and helpful recommendations to his customers. Number 5, people began to flock to the Beijing department store to not only buy sweets, but experience the best customer service around. Number 6, I believe that traditional Chinese culture recognizes that great people can come from all walks of life. Number 7, Zhang Binggui proved that determination, hard graft, and pride in your work can turn an average man into a celebrity. There are my 7 sentences. Top tip: sometimes when you use a list like this, it enables you to memorize the details faster than trying to memorize a flowing paragraph. So what now? Well, today you are going to engage me in a conversation, of course. I'm going to take on the role of your teacher, and you will be presenting a talk about an inspirational person from your home country. Of course, today you will talk about Zhang Binggui. Normally, I give you the questions to prepare yourself, but today I am asking that we improvise it more. In a normal conversation, you would not be given the questions up front, right? You can try the conversation again once you've completed it for the first time. It would make sense for you to use your summaries as much as you can to answer these questions. The conversation will look a little like this. I will ask you the question and you will pause the video in order to answer it. Once you've answered, you can press play again and a simple answer will be given, so you can compare and see if your answer was similar. Then I will continue with the next question and so on. Are you ready? Hello, dear student. I believe that you are going to enthrall us with a talk today. I set you a piece of homework to create a presentation based on an inspirational person from your country. Please, can you firstly tell me a little about the basic facts and background of this person?
Have you ever heard of the Chinese man called Zhang Binggui? You haven't? Well, he's incredibly well known in China, renowned for his charming service in a modest Beijing sweet shop. But was he always so famous? No, he was not rich and came from the humblest of backgrounds. Zhang Binggui was an ordinary man working a lowly position in an ordinary confectionery store, performing ordinary tasks. In the UK, people would call him an average Joe.
This sounds interesting. I like how you have used some rhetorical questions to keep me engaged. So, what made this man so special if he was so average?
In my opinion, it was his supreme work ethic. He was the best employee a company could ask for. He really took pride in his work and cared for his customers.
Please continue. Could you give me examples of this?
He always arrived on time and was perfectly dressed. He was the best employee a company could wish for. He perfected his ability to perform the 6-in-1 working method of asking a customer what they wanted, whilst wrapping up the goods of the first client, greeting a third, finding a way in the suite, then taking payment, all at once. In addition, he researched the ingredients of candies to give the most relevant and helpful recommendations to his customers. For example, if someone had a sore throat, he might recommend peppermint candy to soothe it.
Wow, it sounds like he was an incredible member of staff. So, did he have an impact on the sweet shop in Beijing? What was the consequence of his hard work?
Zhang's fine reputation spread nationwide, and people began to flock to the Beijing department store to not only buy sweets, but experience the best customer service around. Parents would take their children to see the role model and learn from his ways. Now his son runs the store, and both the shop and his family are really famous in China.
So my final question is this: why does he inspire you? What can we learn from a man like Zhang?
I believe that traditional Chinese culture recognizes that things can be produced in everyday life too. The saying, every profession has its own experts, cannot ring truer to the story of Zhang Binggui, who proved that determination, hard graft, and pride in your work can turn an average man into a celebrity.
Thank you very much for your talk on this fabulous man. It seems like he really deserves all the respect and admiration the Chinese nation has given him. You may relax. How did that go? How was it, not being able to prepare the answers beforehand? Of course, it is difficult, but I think that with practice, you will be great. You might want to try that whole thing again and record yourself. You can send the recordings to me. I would love to see all of the hard work you have done. Today we have started to learn about some techniques which can engage an audience, rhetorical questions, opinions and superlatives. This is not easy, so you should congratulate yourselves. For now, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us today, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.